Hello, good day everyone. In this opportunity, I would like to present our research with the title, Transitioning from Offline to Online Learning, Issues from Computing Student Perspective. First of all, allow me to briefly introduce myself. My name is Maresha Caroline Wijanto, and our team who contributed in this paper are Karnalim, Mewati Ayub, Hapnes Toba, and Robby. We are all lecturers from Maranatha Christian University. Then, please allow me to presenting our research. As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic started in the end of 2019. Our daily life is drastically changed to practice physical distancing, such as work from home and virtual meetings for school and university. And all of this require internet connections. In academia, this also raised some issues for both lecturers and students. Lecturers need more time to prepare their teaching materials. Students also experience more distractions while learning at home. Even worse, students must be familiar with a lot of technologies since lecturers can use a variety of supporting technologies. And to the best of our knowledge, none of the studies focus on computing student perspective. To study from home, computing students typically need computers with higher specifications, as some assessments require an advanced applications like Visual Studio, SQL Server, and etc. This paper reports computing student perspective regarding issues raised by transitioning from offline to online learning via questionnaire survey. The findings are expected to help educators in preparing better learning environment, especially the computing. A questionnaire survey was distributed to students in our faculty, the Faculty of Information Technology, and it was responded by 112 students. The survey questions were carefully tailored based on our previous informal survey, which was responded by 72 students. Our survey questions are divided into 4 sections. First, we record personal data like GPA, total number of academic credits, and gender. And for the name and student ID is anonymous. The second section has 4 questions. This record how many hours are spent to study and complete assessment in both offline and online learning. The third section has 7 questions comparing online to offline learning. For each question, students need to choose whether that aspect is closely or moderately aligned to online learning, equally aligned to both, and moderately or closely aligned to offline learning. And for the last section has 4 questions about online learning. Details will be discussed in the findings about online learning perspective. The analysis splits into 3 parts. The first analysis is about comparison of time spent in both offline and online learning. The average number of hours for each category was measured and have 95% confidence rate. To gain more comprehensive findings, the responses were further grouped based on GPA, academic credit, and gender, and analyzed separately. The second analysis part is about qualitative comparison between offline and online learning. The responses were also grouped based on personal data. The third analysis part is about general perspective of both online learning, and the process is the same as before. Here are the characteristics of our respondent. Among 112 respondents, about 86% had GPA higher than 2.75. In terms of academic credit, 62% took more than 18 credits, and more than 80% are male respondents. Now we want to share our finding of the time spent in both offline and online learning. In general, online learning requires the student to spend more time in both studying and complete the assessment. From the table on the left, although the increased time for online learning is less than 1 hour, it is still statistically significant. The finding is consistent with results from others, except on students with GPA less than or equal to 0.75. The students are average students. that typically did not feel the burden to get the highest mark. And the female group, it is unclear why the increase is insignificant for this. The table on the right shows that transitioning to online learning result in 1.6 hour more completion time. And that difference is also statistically significant. This is consistent with the result from others, except on students with GPA less than or equal to 0.75. And same as before, this student might have weaker intention to complete the assessment as good as possible. From this picture, it shows that more than 3/4 students felt that more workload of assignment was given on online learning based on question C1. Lecturers give additional workload to confirm the originality as academic dishonesty might occur. On questions C2 and C3, the lecture is less clear and the interactions with lecturer is far less in online environment. This might be caused by online interactions is more limited, especially for computing specific materials like programming and algorithms. On question C4, more than half students thought that collaboration among students is more difficult. This is expected as most students were not accustomed to use collaboration platforms like Git for programming and Google Docs for text. The difficulty of exam and grading is equally strict in both offline and online environment. See question C5 and C6, which is a good thing since the lecturers were able to maintain the quality of course output. Online learning resulted in higher stress level. This caused by higher workload of assignment, lack of clarity, and the limited amount of interactions as discussed in previous. Let's discuss our finding about online learning perspective. Factors inhibiting the success of online learning are related to limited interactions, limited explanations, and poor internet connections. To enlarge their chance of succeeding online learning, students expect lecturers to record the lecture and provide live meeting sessions. Students can replay the recording if they are unclear about something, and if needed, they can clarify during the live sessions. The benefits of online learning is more time efficient, as students are not required to go to the university. Online learning is also perceived as less space constraint, that the lecture can be attended from anywhere, and more cost efficient because physical transportation is not required. About half of the respondents voted for programming as the most difficult subject to learn. The difficulty becomes higher since technical and logical error while installing or running any related software might also complicate the learning process. For mathematics and algorithms, require a lot of exercise and discussions, but lecturers cannot provide a lot of exercise to keep students' stress level low. More than 60% respondents felt that non-computing subjects other than mathematics are the easiest since the materials were easy to understand. We can say that transitioning from offline to online environment is challenging. Our study showed that students need to spend more time in both studying and completing the assessment. Lecturers are advised to use more images and videos during the teaching session. Gamified platforms like Quizzes or Kahoot can also be introduced to make the learning process more fun. Online collaborations like Slack and GitHub also can be used, but an automated similarity detection tool should be applied to prevent collusions. Many students think that limited interaction is a key factor inhibiting their success in online learning. They suggest the lecturers to record the lecture sessions and provide live discussion sessions. Online learning has a few positive traits like being cost efficient, given that the student doesn't need to physically attend the lecture. Lecturers are expected to pay more attention on programming subject, given that it is quite difficult to learn online. To provide better learning support, the lecturers can introduce additional tutors use independent learning tools like programming visualizations, setting more collaborative assessment, or using existing hands-on or learning materials provided by third parties. The conclusion of this research are we have stated the issues transitioning from offline to online learning experienced by computing students. Our study shows that these transitions require the student to allocate more time. Further, online learning is believed to have a few benefits like cost efficiency. However, the benefits are not comparable to the issues like higher stress level and limited suggestions. We also provided some suggestions to deal with those issues. This is the end of my presentations. Thank you for your attention. Now we are welcome for the questions and suggestions. Thank you.